I pulled into our driveway just as my phone blinked 6:47 p.m. on Thursday, September 12th. Another week wrapped up, and I was ready for the usual. Walk in the door, Whitney bustling in the kitchen, the scent of something good simmering, her asking about my day. Maybe a quick laugh, a kiss, and slipping into the comfort of our routine. But tonight it was different. Whitney was standing by the door, dressed in tight, dark denim jeans I'd never seen before, paired with a soft cream blouse that clung just enough to hint at curves I'd grown familiar with, but couldn't help but appreciate anew. Her makeup was flawless, lips a deep rose, eyes smoky and dazzling. The new perfume she wore hit me from across the room, something floral with just a touch of musk. She glanced at me, purse in hand, phone buzzing in the crook of her elbow. "I'm heading out with the girls," she said, voice light but firm. "Don't wait up." I set my bag down slowly, surprised. "Tonight? I thought we were trying that new pasta recipe." She shrugged, checking her phone. "Change of plans. Amy and some of the girls from work want to blow off some steam." "Which girls?" "Just people from the office. You know how it is." She planted a quick kiss on my cheek, more like ticking a box, and was gone. The front door clicked shut behind her, and the hum of her car starting faded as she drove off. I stood there, the silence swallowing the house whole. Something was off. Not disaster off, but like a painting hung crooked, just enough to catch your eye and unsettle you. Then it hit me. This was the 4th Thursday in a row. Week 1, she'd apologized, said the girls needed a night out, promised she'd be back by 11. She came home at 1:30. Week 2, she mentioned it on Tuesday, said it was becoming a regular thing. Midnight was her return time. Week 3, she told me. Thursday morning, "Don't wait up, might be late." Came home at 1. Tonight? No warning, no apology, just "don't wait up," and then silence. I wandered to the kitchen, made a sandwich, ate standing up, the house too quiet. At 2:30 a.m. I heard her car pull in. The front door opened with the softness of a cat's paw. She moved like she was trying not to wake me. The shower ran. 20 minutes of water for a night on the town. When she slipped into bed, her hair still damp, she smelled only of shampoo and body wash. No smoke, no bar scent, no perfume. Like she was washing something away. Friday morning, Whitney was overly cheerful, too cheerful, humming in the kitchen, making coffee, asking about my weekend plans. I watched her move, studied the patterns of 6 years. This wasn't her. "How was girls' night?" I asked. "Great, really great. We hit a few bars, danced, caught up." "Where exactly?" She hesitated. "Just around different places," I pressed. "You go out 4 Thursdays in a row. You must have a favorite spot." She sipped her coffee. "Bar hopping. Nothing regular." "Why so many questions?" "No reason." But there was a reason. I just didn't know it yet. Across the weekend, I started noticing the small things I'd been ignoring. Whitney had dropped a good dozen pounds since July. She joined Elevate Fitness on South Street 2 months ago. Used to go 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Now 5 times a week, 2 hours each session. Her clothes had shifted. Tighter, younger, more revealing. New leggings hugging hips, crop tops flashing a sliver of toned stomach, jeans that showed more than they covered. Her phone was glued to her, bathroom, kitchen, bedroom. If I walked in, she flipped it face down. Her passcode had changed. Used to be our anniversary. 6114. Last week, when she asked me to grab her phone, I couldn't unlock it. And then there was Brandon. Not that I'd met him, but his name was everywhere. Brandon says I should do cardio before weights. Brandon showed me this protein shake recipe. Brandon thinks I should focus on my core. I assumed he was just some trainer at the gym, but Whitney said his name like he was part of the furniture, casual, constant. Sunday night, I lay in bed, reading while she texted, smiling at her phone. "Who's that?" I asked. She locked the screen fast. "Just Amy." "What's so funny?" "Nothing. Girl talk." She flipped the phone face down on the nightstand. Monday, I did something I'd never done before. I logged into our shared phone account. We'd had the same plan for 5 years. Never needed to check the details. I pulled up Thursday night, September 12th. Her location pinged, 7:15 p.m. She left the house. 8:15 p.m. Dwarth Grill on Elizabeth Avenue, a cozy upscale spot, not exactly your typical girls' night blow-off steam joint. 11:45 p.m. Still there. Then her phone zipped over to the Summit at South Park, a luxury apartment complex on Sharon Road West. 2:15 a.m. Still there. 2:25 a.m. Heading home. No bar hopping. One restaurant. Then an apartment building for 2 hours. I searched the Summit online. 1-bedroom flats starting at $1,100 a month. Hands shaking, not from anger, but clarity. The kind of clarity when denial snaps and the truth screams. I scrolled through 2 months of call logs. One number stood out. Multiple daily calls, some lasting 45 minutes, always when she was supposed to be at the gym or on lunch. Never at home. The number was unfamiliar. I Googled Brandon Walsh, personal trainer, local gym. Tattooed, 28, a public Instagram filled with workout vids and motivational quotes. A post from that Thursday night. A dim photo of an apartment with candles on a table, captioned, "Late Night Recovery Session." Comments from women who knew him personally. I found Whitney's account among his followers, and she'd liked that post at 11:42 p.m., while supposedly at Dwarth Grill with the girls. I closed the laptop, made coffee, stared out the kitchen window as dawn bled into the sky. 6 years unraveling because Whitney was spending Thursday nights in another man's apartment. I should have been angry, ready to smash something. Instead, I felt cold, calm, clear. I knew what I needed to do. Tuesday lunchtime, I parked 2 blocks from Elevate Fitness, tucked myself into a corner seat at Amelie's French Bakery, and ordered a black coffee. The place smelled like fresh croissants and burnt ambition, perfect for what I was about to do. At 12:45 p.m., Whitney's car rolled into the gym parking lot. She wasn't supposed to be working out today. She told me that morning her next session was Wednesday. Tight ponytail, that same snug workout gear that left little to the imagination, and sneakers so clean they could double as mirrors. 30 seconds later, a man stepped out. Brandon. Tattoo sleeves wrapping his arms like tribal armor, a sleeveless top showing off muscles I'd never get close to again. He caught her eye, and they immediately started chatting by her car, the kind of easy laugh that felt like a private joke. He touched her lower back. She didn't flinch, didn't step away. I snapped 3 photos before they disappeared inside together. 90 minutes later, they came out still close, still wrapped in their own little world. Brandon hugged her goodbye. No casual friend hug, more like a claim staked in a crowded field. His hands slid low on her back, fingers tracing lines only lovers knew. She tilted her head up, lips parted slightly, and they held the embrace for a solid 5 seconds. 4 more photos later, Whitney drove off, and Brandon slipped back inside. I finished my coffee, cold and bitter now, drove back to work, and emailed myself the pictures. The first piece of a puzzle I was building. Wednesday morning, Whitney left her phone charging in the kitchen before heading upstairs for a shower. I tried the usual passcodes, our anniversary, birthdays. Nothing. The water ran steady above me, a soundtrack for my sinking heart. Her gym bag sat on the counter, zippered open, workout clothes neatly folded, protein powder container. In the side pocket I found a receipt. Fitzgerald's Irish Pub, Plaza Midwood. Date, Last Thursday, 10:47 p.m., 2 drinks ordered, table service. She'd told me they bar-hopped around uptown. Plaza Midwood was miles away, a totally different scene. Another lie. I photographed the receipt, put it back exactly as I found it, and sat down, feeling like I was unraveling a thread in a sweater that would soon be just a pile of yarn. The shower stopped. 10 minutes later, Whitney came downstairs, smiling, asking what I wanted for dinner. Chicken and rice. We ate in silence, watched TV, and I lay awake later, wondering how many times she'd washed away the truth under that hot water. How many lies hid behind that smile? How many kisses were shared with a man whose name wasn't mine? Thursday morning, September 19th, the plan was set. Over breakfast, I told Whitney I had to work late. Big meeting, wouldn't be home until 9 or so. She blinked a little too fast, then said, "Yeah, last-minute thing. Don't wait up." Her voice was casual, but her eyes were sharp, sizing me up. That afternoon, I parked 2 streets over from our house and slipped behind the neighbor's fence, hidden in the shadows. From there, I had a clear view of our driveway. 6:55 p.m. Whitney stepped out. Same routine. Full makeup, tight dark jeans hugging her legs, a delicate silver necklace catching the fading light, and that new perfume wrapping around her like a secret. She got into her car and drove off. I followed, careful to keep my distance. She didn't head uptown as she'd said. Instead, she drove south, straight to the summit at South Park. She parked near Building C, checked her phone, then walked inside like she owned the place. 3rd floor, window lit up. I parked 3 rows back and waited. 11:30 p.m., Whitney emerged. Brandon was waiting by her car, tattooed arms crossed, a smirk playing on his lips. They chatted, leaned close, and then he pulled her into a kiss. Not a quick peck, but a deep, slow kiss, full of everything I wasn't anymore. His hands tangled in her hair, her hands pressed against his chest. I pulled out my phone and started recording, 30 seconds of betrayal caught in glowing streetlights. She slid into her car while he watched, then turned and disappeared back inside. I sat there, heart pounding, watching the video on loop. 6 years of marriage distilled into a few stolen moments outside an apartment building. Midnight found me back at the house, lights off except the kitchen, sitting alone at the table. At 2:20 a.m., the key turned quietly in the lock. Whitney stepped inside, saw me sitting there, and froze. "Oh, you're home?" "Yeah." "How was your meeting?" "Fine." "And girls' night?" "Good. Really good." "Where exactly?" She hesitated, then said, "Just around a few bars, uptown." I nodded, stood up, and said, "I'm going to bed." She looked confused, maybe relieved. "Okay, I'll be up in a minute." The shower started soon after. 20 minutes later, she slid into bed, smelling clean. No perfume, no smoke, just that faint scent of body wash. I pretended to sleep, but inside I was wide awake, wondering how many more lies I'd uncover. Friday morning, I called in sick for the first time in 3 years. Funny how life's biggest headaches make you want to crawl under the covers and never come out. But I had work to do, the kind of work that didn't pay in dollars but in peace of mind. At noon, I sent Whitney a text. "Going out tonight. Don't wait up." 3 little dots appeared immediately, then vanished, then reappeared. "Where are you going?" I typed. "Out with some people from work." "Which people?" "Just friends. Need to blow off steam on a Friday night." I shrugged at my phone and typed back, "Why not? You go out all the time?" The dots danced again, then nothing. 20 minutes later, I asked, "What time will you be home?" "Late, probably. Don't wait up." "Can you at least tell me where you're going?" "Just around different places." I smirked. I was using her own words against her, curious to see if she'd crack. "This isn't like you." "Maybe I'm trying new things." No response for an hour. Then I tried one last time. I was thinking we could have dinner together tonight. Can't. Already made plans. Cancel them. Why would I do that? Because I want to spend time with you. She read it. Dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. That's different. How? No answer. I wasn't really expecting one. I went to Greg's place, ordered pizza, and spilled everything. She's cheating, he said flat out. You have proof. GPS, photos? Working on it. What are you going to do? Divorce. But I need everything documented first. Smart man. Don't confront until you have the full picture. That night I drove home slowly. Whitney's car was in the driveway. I opened the door, lights on, and found her on the couch. Where were you? Greg's. We watched the game, lost track of time. She looked relieved, then confused. You didn't answer my texts. You never answer mine on Thursdays. That's different. How? No answer. I said, I'm going to bed. Andrew, wait. I stopped, didn't turn. Is something wrong? No. Why? You're acting strange. Am I, or am I just acting like you? I walked upstairs, leaving her sitting there, the silence louder than any argument. Saturday morning, the house smelled of pancakes, my favorite, which made the silence even heavier. Whitney was in the kitchen, her hair pulled back messy, wearing an oversized sweatshirt that fell off one shoulder and jeans that hugged her hips just right. She moved around with a nervous energy, setting the table, pouring coffee. What's all this? I asked, sitting at the kitchen island, watching her. I wanted to do something nice for you, she said softly, biting her lip. Why do I need a reason? You haven't made breakfast in 6 months. Her eyes flickered, hurt flashing beneath the surface. I'm trying. Trying what? To be a good wife. I nodded slowly, picked up a fork, and ate in silence. The pancakes tasted like guilt and regret, sweet but bitter beneath the surface. Later that day, I drove to Fitzgerald's Irish pub during lunch hour, the place Whitney had lied about. It was quiet, the kind of place with dark wood panels and low lighting that made you feel like secrets stuck to the walls. I walked up to the bar where a middle-aged bartender with a friendly face was wiping glasses. Can I help you? He asked. I pulled up Whitney's photo on my phone. My wife thinks she left her credit card here a few weeks ago. Have you seen her? He glanced at the screen and nodded. Oh yeah, she's here every Thursday night, regular spot in the back corner booth, always with the same guy, trainer dude, big, inked up. My stomach twisted. They come in together? Yep, real cozy. Order wine, appetizers, usually stay a couple hours. Seem pretty into each other. Thanks. I left a 20 on the bar. Appreciate it. He smiled. No problem. Hope she finds her card. I sat in my car out front, added the bartender's words to my growing evidence file. The truth was stacking up, and I was ready to build my case. That afternoon, I drove downtown to the glass tower where Whitney worked. I'd only been there twice before, once for a holiday party, once to pick her up when her car was in the shop. I parked across the street and waited. At 5:32 p.m., Whitney emerged from the building, not alone. Brandon was with her. They walked to the parking deck together, laughing, standing close. At her car, they talked for another 10 minutes. He leaned against the driver's door. She stood between his legs like they'd rehearsed this moment 100 times. He kissed her right there in plain sight. No shame, no fear of being caught. She drove away, and he headed to a Honda Civic 3 spaces over. Not just Thursday nights, he was at her workplace. I snapped photos, each one a punch to the gut, proof that this wasn't some casual fling. It was a deliberate, ongoing betrayal. Saturday morning, I called Whitney's office, disguising my voice with a slightly higher pitch. Hi, I'm trying to reach Whitney Miller about a delivery. A woman answered. 1 moment, please. The call rang out to voicemail. "She's not at her desk. Can I take a message?" "That's okay. What time does she usually get in on Saturdays?" "Oh, she doesn't work Saturdays. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. "Right. Of course. Thank you." I hung up, then dialed the building's security desk. "Hi, I need to verify employment for a loan application. Whitney Miller. Does she work in your building?" "Let me check. Yes, Suite 1140. Her schedule?" "I can't give out personal information, sir." "I'm just wondering if she works weekends. We're trying to coordinate a loan signing." "Her access badge shows Monday through Friday only. No weekend access." "Perfect. Whitney had told me last month she had to work Saturday for a special project. I'd spent that whole Saturday alone, believing she was at the office. I checked the GPS data for that day, September 14th. Her phone had been at the summit at South Park from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. 5 hours at Brandon's apartment on a Saturday afternoon. Another lie. Another betrayal. Monday morning, I called a lawyer, Thompson and Associates. Rebecca Thompson met me at 9 a.m. I laid everything out on her desk. GPS data, photos, videos, bartender testimony, even emails I'd found on Whitney's laptop while she was at her mother's over the weekend. She reviewed it all, nodding slowly. "This is very thorough. I can see you're methodical. North Carolina is a no-fault state, but adultery is grounds for divorce. With this evidence, you have a strong case. How long? If uncontested, 4 to 6 months. If she fights it, she will. Let her. We have everything we need." She slid a retainer agreement my way. $5,000 to start. I wrote the check without hesitation. "I'll draft the petition. You'll need to serve her. Once served, we proceed. I can have the papers ready by Wednesday." "Do it." Tuesday evening, Whitney tried to talk about our weekend plans. I was distant, short with my answers. "Is everything okay?" she asked. "Fine. You seem upset." "Just work stuff. You can talk to me." I looked at her, the woman I'd trusted completely, the woman who'd spent Thursday nights with another man for 2 months. "I'm good." She reached for my hand. I pulled away and stood up. "I'm going to bed." I heard her crying downstairs but didn't care. Not anymore. Wednesday, September 25th, the process server found Whitney in the office parking lot at 5:30 p.m. Her phone rang immediately, her number flashing on my screen. I didn't answer. 3 texts arrived. "You actually filed? You're really doing this?" "Call me, please," I replied once through my lawyer. "Correspondence will be through legal channels." She called 4 more times. I blocked the number. Thursday morning, she showed up at the house. I'd taken the day off, expecting her. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. "We need to talk," she said, eyes red and swollen. "No, we don't." "Please, just let me explain." "Explain what?" 2 months of Thursdays at Brandon's apartment, Fitzgerald's Irish pub. The lies. Her face went white. "How did you?" "GPS, photos, video, witnesses. I know everything." "It wasn't. I didn't say it was. I know." "You did." "Every Thursday while I sat at home believing you were with friends." She started crying. "It was a mistake." "No, it was dozens of mistakes. Every choice you made, every lie you told." "Can we talk inside?" "No, you don't live here anymore." "This is my house too. Check the deed." "It's not. I've been paying rent, essentially. The house is mine. Bought it before we married." "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair?" She had nothing to say. "How long?" she whispered. "How long?" "What?" "How long have you known?" "Long enough to gather evidence. Long enough to watch you kiss him. Long enough to hear the bartender say you two are regulars. You followed me. I verified what I suspected. There's a difference. I ended it with Brandon. Good for you." He was using me. You were right. I know. Can we try to fix this? I laughed, cold and empty. No. Don't I deserve a chance to explain? You had 6 years to be honest. You chose Brandon instead. One mistake shouldn't end everything. It wasn't one mistake. It was 8 Thursdays, 16 hours, hundreds of lies. People make mistakes. People make choices. You chose to cheat. I choose to divorce. She stood there crying. I closed the door. Through the window, I watched her sit on the porch steps. 30 minutes later, she left. Saturday morning, September 28th, I changed all the locks. The locksmith arrived at 8 sharp, a burly guy with a toolkit that looked like it belonged in a spy movie. By 10:30, every lock was swapped out, and I had new keys in my hand. £485 well spent. I texted Whitney, "Locks are changed. Don't come back without calling." Her reply was instant. "You can't lock me out. Check the deed. It's my house." I fired back. "I can. It's not illegal. Spoke to my lawyer." She shot back, "This isn't fair." Fair? You want to talk about fair? I started packing her things. Methodical, organized. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, makeup, laptop, chargers, jewelry. In her gym bag, tucked inside a hidden pocket, I found a second phone, a burner. Texts to Brandon dating back to August. I photographed every message, added it to my evidence file. In her jewelry box, wrapped carefully in tissue paper, was a silver pendant necklace engraved with a W and a B intertwined. Another photo for the file. Everything went into boxes and suitcases. I carried them to the porch and stacked them neatly. Texted Whitney, "Your things are outside. Pick them up today or they go to charity tomorrow." She arrived at 6:15 p.m. with Amy in tow. Amy, that friend who'd covered for her, looked tense and exhausted. They loaded boxes into Amy's car over 3 trips, a 2.5-hour ordeal. When the last box was gone, Whitney sat on the steps. Amy tried to comfort her, but I watched from the window, feeling nothing. Later, Whitney texted, "I still love you. Please let me come home." No reply. At 9:20 p.m., she left. Sunday afternoon, her mother, Patricia Miller, called. We'd always gotten along well. She spoke like I was family. "Andrew, I need to ask you something." "Of course." "Whitney called me yesterday, upset, said you changed the locks and put her things outside." "That's true." Silence on the other end. "She said you two had a fight, that you're going through a rough patch." "Is that what she told you?" "Yes. She said marriage is hard, both stressed from work. She made some mistakes, but nothing serious." I took a breath. "Patricia, that's not what happened." "What did?" "Whitney had an affair for 2 months, every Thursday night with her personal trainer. I have photos, videos, GPS data." I heard her inhale sharply. "She's been lying to me since August, going to his apartment, telling me she was with girlfriends." I followed her, watched them kiss, found receipts, a burner phone, gifts. Patricia was silent for a long time. "I'm so sorry," she finally said, voice shaking. "I had no idea." "She didn't tell you the truth?" "No, she said you were being unreasonable, that you wouldn't let her explain." "There's nothing to explain. I know what happened." A long pause. "Oh, Andrew." Her voice cracked. "This isn't how we raised her." "I know. Her father will be devastated. I'm sorry you have to deal with this." "Don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong." She paused. "Is there any chance you two can work through this?" "No." "You sound certain." "I am. I filed for divorce. She's been served." "I understand. I'm so sorry this happened to you." "Thank you. If you need anything..." "I appreciate it, but I'll be okay. Whitney will need us. She'll have a hard time ahead because of what she did." "Yes," Patricia sighed. "Her father and I will talk to her. She needs to understand the consequences of her choices." Good. After we hung up, I felt lighter. Her own mother knew the truth now. Whitney couldn't control the narrative anymore. Sunday morning, I headed back to Elevate Fitness. It was 11 a.m., and the gym buzzed with the usual mix of grunts, clanking weights, and motivational music. At the front desk, a young woman named Jessica greeted me with a polite smile. "I need to speak with Brandon Walsh," I said. "Is he available?" "He's with a client right now," she replied. "Can you wait?" I sat in the waiting area, nerves twisting in my gut. 25 minutes later, Brandon emerged with a woman in her 30s, a wedding ring glinting on her finger. He spotted me instantly. Recognition flashed across his face, then discomfort. "Can we talk outside?" he asked. I followed him to the parking lot. "Look, man, I don't want trouble." "No trouble, just a conversation." "How long?" I asked bluntly. He shifted, avoided my gaze. "It's not what you think." "How long were you sleeping with my wife?" He hesitated. "Since August." "She tell you we were separated?" "Yeah, she said you two were basically roommates, sleeping in the same bed, married in name only. She seemed unhappy, so you took advantage." "Look," she pursued me, and I said yes. Silence hung between us. "You're sleeping with a married woman every Thursday night. What does that make you?" "I'm not the bad guy here." "No? Then what are you?" He had no answer. "Here's what happens now. You stop seeing her. Completely. She told me you filed. I told her we should take a break." "A break? Not the end, too messy." "I'm not trying to be involved." "Little late for that." "What do you want from me?" "Nothing. Just wanted to see the man my wife threw 6 years away for." I turned and walked to my car without looking back. Monday, October 7th. Whitney was served at work. She never hired a lawyer, so the judge issued a default judgment. Divorce finalized February 28th. She didn't even know it was done. She stopped responding to court communications, and the judge ruled in my favor. 5 months later, in December, my friend Greg convinced me to try a dating app. "It's too soon," I said. "You've been divorced 2 months. You're allowed to move on." "I'm not ready." "You don't have to marry anyone. Just meet people, have coffee. Remember what it's like to talk to someone who doesn't lie." He had a point. I downloaded the app, set up a profile, feeling awkward. The first match was Jessica, the receptionist from the gym. 32, a teacher who liked hiking and reading. We met for coffee on a Tuesday at a Starbucks on Providence Road. She was warm, easy to talk to, asking thoughtful questions. "So, recently divorced?" "Yeah, finalized 2 months ago." "How long were you married?" 6 years. "That's a long time." "What happened, if you don't mind me asking?" I'd practiced this answer. "She had an affair. I found out and filed." Jessica nodded. "I'm sorry. That must have been hard." "It was, but I'm past the worst." "How do you know you're ready to date?" "Honest question." "I don't know if I am, but I figured I'd try. See how it feels." "And how does it feel?" "Strange, but not bad." She smiled. "That's honest. I like that." We talked for an hour, work, hobbies, life goals. At the end, she said, "I like you. You seem like a good guy, but I don't think you're ready for this." "What makes you say that?" "You mentioned your ex-wife 6 times in the last hour. You're still processing." She was right. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. You're doing the right thing, getting out there, meeting people, but maybe give yourself more time." "That's fair. Can I give you some advice?" "Sure. When you're ready, you'll know because you'll go a whole day without thinking about what she did. You'll wake up and your first thought won't be about the betrayal. That's when you're ready." We said goodbye. I drove home thinking about what she'd said. She was right. I wasn't ready yet. Not really, but I was getting there. January passed, then February. I lost 18 pounds, started running, took a Thursday night cooking class, joined a hiking group through REI, made new friends, got promoted at work, better position, better pay. The house felt mine now, repainted, new furniture, the old craft room transformed into a home gym. I was dating someone, Allison, met on a Sunday hike. 2 dates so far, taking it slow. Life was good. Thursday night, March 17th. Cooking class ran until 9. Drinks with classmates after. Home by 11:30. Asleep by midnight. At 4 a.m., loud knocking woke me. Then the doorbell, over and over. Andrew, please. Whitney's voice. I looked out the window. Her car was in the driveway. More knocking, ringing, crying. I called the non-emergency police line. My ex-wife is at my house at 4 a.m. We're divorced. She doesn't live here. I need her removed. Is she threatening you? No, but she won't leave. Officer will be there in 10. I stayed upstairs, listening to her banging on the door, ringing the bell, crying. At 4:15, the officer arrived, spoke with her. I went downstairs, opened the door in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Thank you for coming, I said. Whitney sat on the porch steps, crying, probably drunk. Andrew, please. Ma'am, the officer interrupted, do you live here? I used to. This is my house. What's your current address? She gave an apartment in Mint Hill. So you don't live here? No, but the owner is my husband. The officer looked at me. Ex-husband, I corrected. Divorce finalized February 28th. You've been divorced 3 weeks. Whitney looked shocked. It's finalized. Public record. She broke down completely. Ma'am, this is private property. You need to leave or I'll arrest you for trespassing. I just need to talk to him. He doesn't want to talk. You need to leave now. Please, just let me explain. The officer looked at me. Sir, I want her off my property. You heard him, ma'am. Leave or I arrest you. Whitney stood slowly, looked at me. I'm sorry for everything. I know, but sorry doesn't change anything. I still love you. You love what we had. That doesn't exist anymore. Because of me. Because of your choices. She walked to her car, got in. Before starting it, she looked back. I'd already closed the door. The officer knocked. You okay? I'm fine, thanks. If she comes back, call immediately. We can file a restraining order. Understood? He left. I went upstairs, couldn't sleep. Made coffee at 5:30. Sat on the back deck, watching the sunrise. My phone buzzed. A text from Allison. Morning. Still on for Sunday's hike at Crowder's Mountain? I smiled. Absolutely. Looking forward to it. This was what healthy looked like. Clear communication, honesty, respect. I finished my coffee, showered, went to work, and told Greg about the 4 a.m. incident. She showed up drunk, banging on the door. Had to call the cops. Insane. You okay? Yeah. Actually, I am. Did any part of you want to let her in? No. That person, the one who cheated every Thursday, I don't owe her anything. She really messed up. She did, but that's not your problem anymore. That night I came home to a quiet house. No anxiety, no wondering where anyone was, no checking phones for lies, just peace. Made dinner, the pasta recipe from the cooking class, watched the game, texted Allison about Sunday, went to bed at 10, slept through the night. 6 months ago, I was a man who believed don't wait up meant she was out with friends. Now I was a man who knew better. Whitney taught me people show you who they are through actions, not words. Every Thursday showed me I wasn't her priority. Every lie showed me I wasn't worth her honesty. Brandon taught me not everyone has character. Some people take what's offered, regardless of the cost. The 4 a.m. incident taught me I made the right choice. I changed the locks 5 months ago, but really I changed myself into someone who knows his worth, demands respect, and won't settle for someone who thinks, "Don't wait up," is an excuse for betrayal. She learned what "don't wait up" really meant that night at 4 a.m. I stopped waiting for her to be someone she wasn't, stopped needing explanations that would never satisfy, stopped hoping she'd choose me when she'd already made her choice 8 Thursdays in a row. I just stopped waiting. I started living, and for the first time in 6 years, every single Thursday was mine.